Hi, I'm Danny Gregory, and I'm looking forward to doing this week's homework in Andrea Joseph's class. I've been a big fan of Andrea's. She sent me this book when it first came out, and I've pored over it and drooled over it and enjoyed it a lot. So if you don't have a copy of this book, I strongly recommend that you have one, just to go and remind you of the amazing, amazing things that Andrea does with a simple ballpoint pen. So Andrew's assignment was to do a drawing of a collection, and I've collected lots of things over time. I've collected, albums and shoes, jackets. I used to collect taxidermy. I started that collection when I was about 13. I've collected coins and stamps. I've collected a lot of books by my favorite authors, but these days I'm trying to pare back. I'm trying to get rid of stuff. And the walls of my house are now cleared of taxidermy, and my cupboards have a lot fewer clothes in them, and I don't listen to records at all anymore. So trying to pare back, there's one thing I won't give up, and that is pens. I love pens. I collect them all the time. I fall in love with a certain pen and I'll stick to it for a while, and then I'll find another pen that I love even more and it'll replace it. But I love to keep all these pens, and you never know when you want to use one. They're different pens, have different effects, but they also have different moods. They feel different in my hand. Some are scratchy, some are smooth, some are detailed, some are kind of joyous and spontaneous and bold. So I keep boxes of them around, and when I find a pen I like, I tend to buy lots of different permutations of it. And so that's what I'm going to draw today. I'm going to draw my pen collection. I'm going to draw just my top 32 favorites. Okay. So the way that I'm going to draw these pens is I'm not going to draw them exactly life size the way Andrea drew those buttons. I'm going to draw them probably half size because I want to fit all 32 of them into a single page, a single spread in my sketchbook, which is a relatively small sketchbook. And I'm also going to not use a ballpoint pen just because I don't have one I particularly love right now. So I'm going to use a Unipin, which is a pen that's quite fine. I'm using a 0.1, which is about the finest one that they make. And I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to arrange them. So I'm going to arrange that collection just on the table in front of me so I can sort of put them, all the different pieces, into one layout. It isn't always the way that I work when I do drawings like this. I've done a lot of drawings of large collections of things. Sometimes I'll just draw one object and then find another way to fit another one in. But in this case, I want all the pens to be kind of relatively the same size to each other. So if one is big and fat, I want it to look big and fat. I want to keep that scale there. And laying them out on the table kind of helps me to make sure that I don't get lost or run out of paper or anything like that. I really want to show all 32 of them. I'm going to fast forward through all these drawings to show you them, and when I get to the end, we'll talk some more. key thing to working the way Andrea does is to take your time, to slow down, to do each drawing carefully and slowly, but also to spend a lot of time doing hatching and cross-hatching, adding texture, adding lines. She spends way more time than I do in doing these drawings, but I think that's the key, is once you've got everything laid out, to just keep going back and working on it. Here's the drawings as they stand now. I'm going to continue to work on them though. I can imagine coming back days after and continuing to noodle and to add more details and more cross-hatching. This kind of drawing is really fun. It's meditative. It's complicated, but that's one of my favorite kind of drawings. But each step of the way is not that difficult. For me, it wasn't really that hard to draw an individual pen. But when you add them all together and you've drawn all these different varieties and you've filled the whole page, it looks really cool. The key to doing the kind of work that Andrea does is it helps if you're as talented and amazing as she is. But failing that, if you're more like me, the thing is to take your time, plan it out, and then just plan to continue working on it slowly. The more detail you add to these things, the better. There is, however, a point beyond which you don't want to go. Because I've looked at this drawing and I thought, hey, why don't I start working on the background? Why don't I maybe add some textures back there? I was thinking maybe I'll add a grid. I thought maybe I'll write stuff all around each of the pens. I have to be careful about that because it can get overworked, dark and kind of grimy looking. And one of the keys to what Andrea does is this balance between this intense line work and intense cross-hatching, but then also amazing simple composition and white spaces between the objects that just give it room to breathe. So that's the key, is this balance. This is a really fun drawing to do. I hope you have as much fun with yours, and I can't wait to see it in the gallery. Bye.